Hey guys, what's going on? I am here with Harrison Frye for Team Dynasty. They have just won the NXL, which is super exciting. First of all, thank you for being here, and how amazing was it for you to win?
Man, it was a dream come true. I was a little kid with Ryan Greenspan poster on my wall, and Oliver Lang poster, and here I am with a Dynasty jersey playing and winning World Cup with him. So it kind of just goes to show hard work pays off, and there's no secret to my success at least, and it's just hard work and doing the right things. And 17 years of playing later, I'm on Team Dynasty and winning World Cup. So
Perfect, because it goes into my first question. What do you think was the number one success as to why Dynasty won and why they keep winning over and over and over again?
yeah, I get asked this question a lot actually. And a lot of people ask me too, like, when I first joined the team, hey, what's the difference? What's better, what's worse, what's this and that. There's not one thing. It's everything, right? I mean, it's comes to the paint, the how we keep it, how we plan, the dynamics of the teamwork. It's every little bit that adds up to success. And I think, any Michael Jordan might say the same thing, right? It's the Michael Jordan from in the Bulls era, like it wasn't him that it was the whole package. Once you kind of find that right formula, and it's different for each team, for each situation, right? Like I said, dynasty success and the formula for that is different than, impact success during the impact run. They had different formula, they had different keys. But it's really just kind of about finding that and adjusting little things. So, it was a great honor last year to get asked to join Dynasty after 3 years of winning World Cup and winning the series. I got asked to join from Infamous, and so I joined this year, and here we are, fourth year in a row. I'm not responsible for the last three. I was actually one of their adversaries during the last three, which maybe is a factor. Maybe it helped them in ways, and I'm sure it did. Having to play against me or anything.
With this layout that you just played at the NXL, do you feel like there was one key important position which was the reason as to why people won their games?
You have five guys on a team on the field at a time, and then you have the coach, giving out like this is what we're gonna do, and all those dynamics change so much. I think this, when the layout dropped, everyone thought the snake side was going to be super dominant and way more dominant than it was. And it started to get obvious as practice went on that it's going to end up being kind of a stalemate on that side until you're able to get in there. Because it was such an open side, and the can and the Aztec, the God bunker, were so open that it was hard to make them. It's hard to make the snake. It was hard to make the corner. You probably had a 50% chance making it at best. And even when you made it, it it wasn't catastrophic failure for the other team. It wasn't, there was ways to survive. Um, when the other team makes the snake and you don't. And that kind of that is the biggest difference between a team that goes into finals consistently and is winning consistently than to teams that you know aren't winning basically, or only win every once in a while in momentum. Like, man, I mean, and when you're on the other side of that, like we had all the spots. We were in the 50 snake, we were in the 50 Dorito, we were up in their stuff, we were up a body, and we lost that point. And when you're in the moment and you lose that, it's like, what do we do? Like we had everything we wanted and we still lost. It's two sides of that coin.
So before we go into the new layout, was there one of your favorite moments from this NXL?
In the finals against Impact, uh, I think there was a minute something left, and we started off 5-on-5, and it about 30 seconds went by with not much happening. And then we lost a body or two, and the cards started to fall on our side, and Impact started running. And if they had done it a little smarter, I think they probably would have got that point. But they just threw too many bodies away too quickly, and there was about 20 seconds left, and it was just Marcelo, and he shot one or two guys, and then he saw a body streaking on the Dorito side and shot him, and that was the last guy. And that was their point to win and our point to kind of survive. And this is what winning World Cup looks like. Well, this is the series championship, so this is for winning the series. I got it. It's got champagne. It's still sticky from the champagne.
Nice.
Very good. But this is that. And then we got the two rings here.
They're so dope.
And of course the pro medal. So
I think I saw a photo of Greenspan and he had like fucking, I don't know how many of them on both hands, and they were just.
oh,
Yeah, it was so cool.
he did the Tom Brady. One of the coolest things one of the coolest presents I ever got. First Form, one of my sponsors, they sent me. They were watching my stories where I had just all my medals kind of in an ugly mess, and they sent me a really nice medal hanger,
Nice.
and it says do hard things on it, and I put all my first place medals on there. And it was like I didn't ask for it. They just saw it on my story and thought of me and sent me a medal hanger. That was like one of the coolest things, that a sponsor's done for me. I've got a lot of great sponsors, but just like, the thoughtfulness that went into that, right?
There were some questions I would love to ask you a little later on as well, because I'm always checking out your story, and I always see stuff about Firstborn before and after games, but we will get to that a little later. First of all, let's talk about the new layout. What do you think about this layout? How do you think that they're trying to evolve paintball with two complete field snakes here? What's your thoughts?
So I talked to Jason about this. He had um Jason and Tom and the NXL in general, they talk to the pro teams quite a bit, and um and just us as players and everything. I've known those guys for a long time. And they ask our opinions on things sometimes, Tom particularly. And so and they also explain themselves. So what he told me was he wants to have just more options. So pretty much every year, there's a change in the layouts in the bunkers. And this is the one they're going with this year. And I think it's good. I think having more beams, more options is always good. You don't have to use them all, right? So you could have a layout with no beams. Theoretically we could not use any of the beams. I don't think that's going to happen. But so do they take bunkers away? So I mean, I think. I'm not a field owner. I can't really speak for field owners, but I can give my opinion that the more options that you have, and it's certainly the more options that someone making a layout such as Jason Trozen has, the more creativity they can put into it, and the more diverse kind of events we're going to have in that regard. And it just it makes for kind of more excitingness to happen. I think that this year particularly, like it felt like a lot of layouts were very similar, especially on the snake side, and and Dorito side too. Like there's only so many. I mean, Jason's been doing this for a long time. There's only so many layouts you can create, and so many variations. So
it's a creative one for sure, and like I find that exciting. I'm just thinking, all right, so the people who are there and they're trying to practice now, how are they going to change their practice when a huge part of this is going to be the double snakes? How do you feel like teams are going to try and adapt and change their type of practice?
I think that if you're picking up a guy, you want an extra guy, it might be, you might look into getting another snake guy rather than someone in the back. You might want another front guy, which is always my opinion that I think we need more front guys, as being a front guy myself. So I think if you're a team and you're looking at this new season and you know, you're looking at what your options are. Like you might be leaning to having another front guy at this point. It, you know, it obviously depends on your full team and what you have in general. And yeah, I think anyone that's not good at crawling, you better start practicing.
Like that's kind of going into my thing of like it having so many low positions and snakes. How do you feel like that's going to affect the game within the first opening of the game, or even if two people did get into snake off the break? How do you feel like that's going to affect the development of the game?
I think you're gonna have more kind of close action, which is always good for viewership and what people want to see. You know, people want to see people getting shot. You know,
Yeah.
not like and getting shot from the back line. It's not as exciting. Like, oh, he got dinked out. It's not as exciting as, you know, having someone come through and blast three guys. That's exciting.
Yeah, because looking at the initial break, obviously we got two big coverages of them center break, so it's almost like the intent is for people to get into snake instead of losing people off the break straight away.
Yeah, for sure. And these mini wings on the snake side here, or in the middle,
Yeah.
and then at the 50 middle, and then is it like the 30? That's going to cover a lot of the lanes on the snake. So, you know, in the sample layout, right? I mean, I didn't play it, but I'm just looking at it right now. You know, a heavy gunner on that snake side is going to be really important. Yeah, this is a tough layout. You definitely need a runner, maybe two on the snake side.
That's why I wanted to talk to you about it today, is because yeah, it would be interesting for someone like you who this is your job. Like I assumed that you might like the idea of this, you know?
Well, Joe said to remove the wedges, right?
Yeah.
And the wedges, you know, again, you don't have to use all the bunkers. So I think that's important. Okay, I didn't realize those were giant wings. This layout's going to be action. I mean, look at this. It's you can't. It would be very difficult to shoot people on the break from the back center. You're shooting over all these wings, to shoot the snake runner, for example, which means both teams are going to have a guy in the snake, usually on the break. They're going to have guys out wide on the break. That's fun, right? I mean, you know, in my opinion, having a lot of action, people trading, it's great for spectatorship and it's great for I personally like it as a player. But I can see how players, you know, some players don't like it, like a back player, for example.
Yeah, I see.
Um,
Because they gotta fucking move.
yeah, it's nut up or shut up, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what's important too here is there are these corner bunkers, which seem makeable, and those slow down the game quite a bit, having a corner, you know, because it can watch the tape and it can, you know, it typically allows, or you know, disallows for players to, you know, for the front players to round onto your opponent's side of the field. So I think, you know, this could slow down as well.
So I was going to ask you about some other stuff, but firstly, what is that?
So this is my gel blaster. They sent it to me recently, so I've been playing with it a lot. This one is a glow in the dark one. These
Oh
gellets
my God, I've seen these. These are so sick.
is like the little activator. Turn this on and it charges them. And obviously it's not dark out, but it's super cool.
I could just about see it. Is it gel?
They're so cool. They're these little beads, tiny beads, and you put them in water for 2 hours, and then they grow into these gels, and they just kind of disintegrate when they hit. They break up and they just turn into dust when they dry up. Gel blaster, yeah.
Sick.
There's no cleanup, there's no mess. It's a really cool thing, you know. If you have
Perfect for
kids,
kids, probably actually.
or if you are a kid like me, or if you have kids. So I my brother comes over once in a while. I like wait for him.
Talking about cool stuff, I always see on your story, you'll have to remind me what it's called first something, but I always see on your story some like pre-workout or pre-shake or whatever it is that you take. What is that?
Yeah, so first form, always got my bottle here.
Oh, nice.
First form is so they're one of my sponsors. But their lineup is incredible. They have everything I could ever want. I have a multivitamin that I take every day, microfactor. It's not just multivitamin, but it has also fruits
All
and fruits and
BPA,
veggies.
all everything, I assume, yeah.
EAAs, probiotics, CoQ10, antioxidants, the whole deal. And they come in these little packets. I'm gonna open this up actually.
Is that the one that you take prior to games? What's the one that you take before you're working out and stuff?
No, so I take this is just a daily that I take. Before games, I take a pre-workout. So when I travel, I just grab a whole bunch of them and put them in a little bag. Um, and before games, I take a pre-workout. It's called Megawatt. They make it. It's a nootropic pre-workout, and it's fantastic. Yeah, if you should get
Okay.
some. Google
I need something, so I'll take a look at it. What was it? Megawatt?
Megawatt. Yeah, don't buy it. I'll give you my link. You're gonna buy it. I mean, you have your pre-workout and your post-workout. I think a lot of people don't always talk about intra workouts, which during paintball is really important because we have these long days. It's a very unique sport in which we're there for 6 hours, 4 to 8 hours. If you're playing on a pro practice, you're there basically for 8 hours all day. Usually it's hot out in the sun, and you're going for different spurts. You're playing for 60 seconds to 2 minutes to for a long point, and then you're going and resting, and you're going again, you're going resting, and you're also communicating the whole time if you're doing it right, which takes a lot of energy. Back left, back right, screaming this thing while running, while moving, while holding positions, holding a gun, on the corner. That takes a lot of energy. And I don't think it's talked about enough. Like the midday snacks and the midday, refueling is really important. So making sure you're getting like an apple or banana, something to both sequester your hunger and keep your energy up. A lot of people use Gatorade and stuff like that. I think Gatorade's probably the worst thing you can ever consume. Not the worst thing you can ever consume.
And that's what I done. First time I turned up, I drank 7 Gatorades because I was just fucking dying. It was terrible, and I didn't feel good afterward. Headache, etc. It wasn't a great.
It's so bad. I don't even know how it's like. It's basically soda. A lot of people talk about that kind of stuff, but there's just so many better quality products out there, and there's really great products. The one that I particularly use and one that saved me like countless times, not just while playing paintball, but the whole deal, traveling to Colombia, taking a red eye to Colombia, waking up at, getting in at 2 in the morning and then having to play at 8 in the morning, and just like you're totally screwed. You just came off a plane, or maybe you partied the night before because you're in Colombia, Colombia things. I can't really speak enough for this. Just this intro format has like brought me back from the dead
Nice.
multiple times, um and it's really simple ingredients. If you know about supplements, it's just got EAAs, BCAAs, and a hydration pack in there. So it's just to refuel your body with some simple protein that you need and some hydration. I'm available to anyone like you yourself, obviously. Anytime you can message me. Anyone else, can always DM me and ask these kind of questions, and that's kind of how I represent them. So through that, it's not like you're getting a 50% discount or anything like that. It's just this relationship that I build, and that I'm like I'm somewhat of an expert on this stuff. I mean, I've been taking supplements for a long time. I'm very big into health, and I work out a lot, so I know what these things make me feel. Pre-workouts, post-workouts, protein. I know how I feel with and without them, and I know how I perform with and without them.
For people, let's say for example, who paintballers, but they've never took, even for people who train in the gym, they understand post workout stuff. But for the average paintball player who hasn't taken anything before, what's the simplest way of explaining how you feel, what it does for you prior, post game, something like that?
I always start with, what are your goals and what are your kind of issues and what are you facing? Like if you're kind of, feeling good, you're athletic, you're young. I always say, try some pre-workout and see how it feels. I know how I feel with and without them. And basically, the deal is that when, like we'll probably talk after this, like Alex, like, hey, what are you facing? From a performance level, what are you facing from a gym level? From an everyday level, maybe too. And where what are your goals, and where can you be better? How do you recover? Are you really smashed the next day, after playing paintball or going to the gym? Are you mentally, maybe you have some mental fog every day, or some days other versus others. Are you are you happy? How are you facing, any kind of issues? And then there's things that can help with that. Not there's no band-aid for everything. There's no fix for everything, but there's things that that I know from my life, and that things that I've done. I experiment a lot. My body, I've been a vegetarian, a pescatarian, a carnivore. I've been everything. And I've done fasting. I've done cold showers. I've worked out a whole lot. Professional athlete. I've done microdosing. I got a new microdose
Very cool.
partner
I've,
as well.
I've tried that a bunch
Yeah.
as well, so I know that's super sick.
Yeah, so Nimbus, they're my new microdose friends. So they've been sending me some stuff, and I've been testing it out. I
Super
actually took
sick.
one this morning, and yeah, overall happy, more creative. But I'm still figuring it all out. I'm still experimenting on myself. So it's these guys are really good quality. I know the owner actually, and I've taken them for on and off for a while. You have to experiment, and you have to kind of understand what options are out there. There's different budgets out there and all that too. And kind of just, go with what works for you, and that's different from what works for me, or what works for other people. But I'm always open to have these kind of conversations, and I love having these conversations because it makes me better. And if I can help somebody else, about, hey, I don't recover well, or it's hard for me to get up in the morning, or this and that, whatever things people are facing, because everybody has something. I really kind of enjoy helping people out. I get a lot out of it, and then it also challenges me, like it kind of helps me, like think about different problems, because I know what works for me, but that might not work for other people.
Talking about helping people, what do you have clinics or clients specifically for paintball stuff? Is there anything that you do as far as coaching and stuff, or what?
Yeah, so for paintball, I do clinics. I do. There's a few teams that I work with. The Rangers being one of them, out of Matamoros in Mexico. I speak Spanish. And then I play on a team where we met in Colombia. I play on a team there in the Colombian paintball series. So I'll go down there and play events with them. I'll go down there on off weekends and give clinics. And then there's teams around here, and players around here in the United States as well, that I help, and I help give clinics. So I'm always available. Well, I'm not always available, but I'm always available via DM to chat about what is what might somebody need. I've done a few virtual sessions as well,
Nice.
where we can go over layouts, go over specific things, and that includes not just paintball and X's and O's, and it also includes health and wellness and everything else like that. I gave a clinic this year in Germany, in Berlin, and it's very holistic. I think we don't only just do X's and O's. We do, why do you play paintball? Are you doing things that serve you in your life? Why are you doing them? Do you smoke? Do you drink? Does that serve you? Is it good for you? And there's nothing wrong necessarily with going out and having fun with your friends and drinking, but there's a certain level where it doesn't serve you. Yeah, so I'm available via DM, on Instagram, or whatever else, for questions and thoughts on how we can work together.
I got two final questions for you, and they're kind of more for me, maybe for other people as well. As soon as I started playing 4 months ago, the first thing somebody done is throw Marcelo's book at me and go read it. Paintball IQ. They say go read it. Do you have any? Why don't you create? Are you creating your own? Maybe one day at some point.
I'm thinking about it. I think that an online course, or something of that nature is needed. There's a few out there, and they're great. I would do them differently. So, what and hopefully that speaks to a crowd of people that might think the way I do, the same way I do, or might enjoy, or get a lot out of how I would structure a course and how I would teach, which is ultimately, there is no one way to do it, right? And maybe, for you, reading a book is the best way for you to learn. Maybe for somebody else, watching a video on, structured courses is the best way to learn. Maybe for someone else, they just have to go do it. So they need someone, they need, me to go fly out and teach them and do a one-on-one with them or something like that. Everybody's different and everybody's going to absorb differently. I think, we learned that growing up through school that, we all learn differently, and having more options out there and people that, perspectives and everything else is important. So I've been thinking more and more, it might be time for me to start a little course and take it virtually so that everybody can learn, because my time is limited, going to clinics, and people's time is also limited, and it's also expensive to get me out for a weekend. It's flights and everything else. The teacher, you have to vibe with the teacher. So maybe someone doesn't vibe with me and how I my perspective on things. That's fine. Go somewhere else, and maybe you do vibe with
Sure.
how I describe things and everything else, and that's great. So it all has to match up, right? We've all had teachers in school where we just didn't like them.
Yeah, I agree.
And we've all had teachers that were the highlight of our career, of our schooling, right? You totally vibe with them and you learn so much and absorb so much from them. And it's not always so obvious, why that is. It's just the vibes worked. So
All right, final question I have for you. 2024, obviously they're doing a lot of stuff. I feel like I've come into this at the perfect time. New cameras, they're trying to do a lot more for people to be able to view the sport. What are you most excited for going into 2024 for paintball?
I'm most excited for playing for Dynasty and winning.
Yeah, I
It's
love
simple. No, I mean, yeah, just continuing the grind and proving again. I mean, we did four years in a row. Five would be it's already unmatched and unheard of to do four.
Yeah.
Five is
It's a big number. I follow bodybuilding. Chris Bumstead, he just hit the championship title 5 times in a row. When you hit 5 times in a row, it's a big number. So it would be super sick to achieve.
There would be 10 rings. So yeah. Beyond that, I think that the sport's always on a the economy goes up and down, and the sport level goes up and down. But from a from an evolution standpoint, we're always on a forward trajectory. So new layouts, new paint, new rules, new this, new that. It's all an experimentation to try and produce what we can. And it's not always right, and there's not always it's not always perfect, but it's done with altruism in mind, and like to help the sport get better. And there's a lot of responsibility on decision makers. If they make a decision that's like totally wrong, it could really screw up the sport for a while, for many years. So it takes a lot of planning and a lot of phone calls and questions. I know, like I said, there's a lot of talks going behind the scenes, and these things aren't just done like let's do it for no reason. There's a lot of consideration. So I think Tom Cole and the NXL do an excellent job.
Well, once again, first of all, congratulations for winning. That's super amazing. I hope that I can do that one day. And thank you so much for sitting here, and how amazing. Que chimba. I love it. I hope I hope one day I can see that as well. And of course, for you guys, I hope you love this video. If you have any comments, thoughts, specifically for this layout, I know a lot of people are talking about it. If you have questions, you can go message Harrison directly on Instagram. So hope you love this video, guys. Thank you so much, and catch you later.